So hello everyone and welcome here to the Netherlands for round number 2 of the 2014 NASA RallyCross Challenge season. It's the Dutch RallyCross Grand Prix here at Valkenswaard, as it's Josh Mertz bringing you the call for the Automotive Sports Network today. As our format for today's race, the 14-car field, we're going to have 3 heats, 4 laps apiece. The top 2 in each heat advance to the final. You have to take the Joker once. Others move to the LCQ. LCQ is 3 laps, top 2 advance. Joker once, final 8 drivers, 8 laps, and Joker twice. As we will get right to it here, as we are running a little bit short on time, to be honest. Heat number 1, Triple Crown champion Dylan Livingood, but on pole, Doug DeNice in car number 10, followed by Cody Erdman in car number 2, Nick Cars in car number 35, and the aforementioned Livingood. So, one of the privateers versus 3 constructor teams. DeNice might have his work cut out for him here, as we don't know the performance of that private Subaru, although I do believe he got it from MRT. It's an old MRT Junior car from way back in the day. As Livingood trying to get lined up, and race officials told him to pull way up. We are having issues here getting him lined up. The Triple Crown champion sure knows what he's doing, as we are revving him up for heat number 1 here at Valkenswaard. It's the first appearance for Erdman in 2014A in car number 2. The silver Red Bull car. Getting ready to get off the line here, as next week we will be in Spain for the first of the endurance rounds in Guadarrama. But now it's heat number 1 in Valkenswaard, revving them up, and it is lights out, and away we go. And off the line, Livingood gets the jump, followed by Erdman as they're side by side, past the chicane and into corner number 1. Who will get the advantage into the corner? Still side by side. DeNice is sideways and exiting corner number 1 through the short chute into turn 2. It's Erdman, Livingood back, right on the back bumper of car number 2, and into the first dirt right-hander. It's going to be Erdman leading, followed by Livingood, DeNice, and Cars. To the Joker, Erdman gets banged out of the way by Livingood, and it looks like this will put DeNice through to the lead, as possibly Erdman is stuck in the tire barriers. So after the Joker, the penultimate corner, double apex. It's going to be DeNice leading, followed by Livingood. That wreck is under review, I do believe, from race control. I heard at the end of lap number 1, it's Livingood who leads in car number 51. DeNice is in second, Cars is in third, and Erdman is possibly parking that Subaru in car number 2. Listening to the MRT radio, Josh Mertz on the pit gantry of car number 2 in his fire suit saying, Erdman, don't do anything stupid. As Erdman, I believe, is trying to get the car refired, and yes, he has. I believe he's waiting for Livingood here on lap number 2, the 3 leaders. What is he going to do to the Triple Crown champion? As you know, retaliation's not a good idea. The NASA Rallycross Challenge, frowned upon. DeNice is sideways. Here's Erdman. Will he mess up Livingood in car number 51? We're going to see as the crossed flags are going to be waving for Dylan Livingood in car number 51. At the end of lap 2, he will lead, and it's going to be Erdman a lap down, but he will be putting pressure on Livingood to try and make him make a mistake, as that wreck has always been an issue. That type of wreck has always been an issue here at Valkenswaard because of the Joker being such a sharp turn. You have to slow down in the middle of traffic, and it just doesn't end well, as we've seen in the past several seasons. As Erdman is now going to drive his life away to try and get Livingood to make a mistake. And speaking of, Erdman makes a mistake, snap spin almost, but that has set him up brilliantly for that corner, and that's exactly why you can't go all the way out to that asphalt on that little dirt section, as Livingood takes the white flag in car number 51. DeNice is in second, and Cars will be battling DeNice if he can to get the transfer spot. He was half a second faster than DeNice on the last lap, as Erdman 0.6 of a second slower than Livingood, but remember, he is off the lead lap. So no pressure for the Triple Crown champion to sneak through and get this heat victory. As Erdman takes to the Joker in car number 2, we're going to see if he can make a difference to Livingood's heat here. He's getting close. There's not anything he could do off the lead lap. Through the grass, it's not going to work. Livingood wins second place will be Denice in car number 10, and it looks like Cars was unable to put the fight up to Doug Denice, as he will finish in third, and Erdman, very frustrated, will pull the car into the pit lane and park it until the LCQ. And heat number 2 drivers getting up and ready here. As heat number 2, they are on track now. It's going to be Luke Fleming in car number 83, the Best Buy Subaru, followed by Adam Simons in the ATN Autosports Subaru. Josh Mertz, the purple Red Bull Subaru. And Brandon Nicholson in the Revolution Junior car, and you see Yokohama tires on that car now. One of the bigger storylines is that that team withdrew from the Constructors' Championship. Now they're a private entry, and Chris Wett's making his way onto the track. Another storyline, this man right here is using a different gearbox. We saw the issues crop up in Croft, and resulted in him flipping and crashing, among other things. And the team has changed the transmission. It took all practice, and they only got about 5 laps during the driver's meeting. He hooked up his radio to the scanner and was listening to the driver's meeting while on track. So we don't know what the double defending champion will do, but we're revving him up for heat number 2, Simons, Mertz, Fleming, Nicholson, and Wetz for 2 positions here, and we're going to see what will happen as we're getting ready to go, and it's lights out, and away we go, and off the line, Fleming gets the shot, Mertz bumps into him, Wetz on the outside taking the fight with Fleming, who's going to get the edge? It's Wetz into turn 1, as Simons bumps into Mertz and spins him around. Out of the running in heat number 2 is Mertz already. It's Wetz, Fleming, Simons, Nicholson, and Mertz is in 5th. Into the dirt right-hander for the first time. It's Wetz and Fleming leading. Simons trying to drive his way through there. And through the Joker goes Wetz. Around the long corner goes Fleming and Simons. Simons is sideways in car number 08, and around he goes. So it's Wetz, Fleming. Mertz got by Nicholson through the Joker, and Wetz leads at the end of lap number 1, followed by Fleming and Mertz trying to deal with the sequential gearbox, not ending very well in car number 1. He is in 3rd. As mentioned, that he used to use an old H-pattern gearbox. We saw the issues pop up in Croft, and the team spent all practice trying to switch boxes. They got the boxes switched, and he only got about 5 laps of practice. So that's why the double defending champion is so far back. As Wetz leads on lap number 2, Fleming is taken to the Joker, and I believe everyone has. Rounding the final corner, cross flags already waving for Chris Wetz. See if he can hang on and take this Heat 2 victory, excuse me. See if he can get it here. It is going to be quite the battle for Luke Fleming to try and take this victory. I don't believe that he'll be able to. He's so far back, but you never know what will happen in NASA Rallycross. Wetz pulling away. Mertz is still in 3rd. Fleming 2nd. This hasn't changed. Simons has gotten by Nicholson. And rounding the final corner, white flag for Chris Wetz in car number 71, followed by Fleming. They are in the transfer spots. And Mertz trying hard. He is a 1/10 of a second off of Wetz's pace with a sequential gearbox. Many of the people said that it was Mertz just having expertise of knowing how to shift with an H box, because we've seen him be so much faster than everyone else, being a 1/10 of a second off with a sequential box, having never used it before. Trying not to be biased here at ASN towards one driver, but that says something. Rounding the final corner, Chris Wetz wins heat number 2, and Luke Fleming will transfer through in car number 83. Mertz will have to go to the LCQ for the first time since St. Eustache 2013C, and he is not happy about it. Simons will get 4th place in car number 08, and Brandon Nicholson will round the final corner to finish 5th in heat number 2. as heat number 3 drivers now getting on track and getting ready to go. And we will see here. As there's Casey Lester in his private Mitsubishi. And on the grid for heat number 3, Dylan Smith, Brandon Lambert, Casey Lester, Tristan Hagenstein. I believe we're waiting. Yeah, there's Caleb Paul. And that's an interesting storyline. We're revving them up for heat number 3. Here we go, and it's lights out, and away we go. And once the finish is figured out, I will go over that storyline. 3 wide with Hagenstein, Lambert, and Smith, who get the budge into corner number 1. 3 wide. They're gonna pinch. Will Caleb Paul go through the middle like last season? No. And out of the first corner, it is the Volkswagen side by side. Lambert with the advantage for the moment. Smith has the inside going into the dirt right-hander. Will he get the run? Caleb Paul got really close to the Volkswagen, and to the Joker goes Lambert. Paul to the inside of Smith. They nearly made contact, and now Smith is sideways. They're both saving the car, and then allowed Lambert to sneak through to the lead. Now, at the end of lap number 1, it's going to be Brandon Lambert leading in car number 21, followed by Paul, followed by Smith, Hagenstein, and Lester. And this is an interesting storyline that people probably won't believe. Keith Sherman, normal driver of the number 15 Mangled Lemons Racing Ford, absolutely destroyed that car in Croft. The Ford mechanics were trying to fix the car in preparation for this race, and they said, this car is unrepairable. Keith Sherman said, well, if my car is unrepairable, I'm not going to race. And then Caleb Paul said, well, what we could do is have me run in my car for your team for this one race. They asked Ford about it. Ford didn't care. So this is a Mangled Lemons car for this one race, and Caleb Paul is in the second Mangled Lemons car. As crazy as that sounds, that's what the team put together. And at the end of lap 2, Brandon Lambert continues to pull away, followed by Paul, Smith, Hagenstein, and Lester, your privateer points leader, hanging out back. As Smith is sideways, and so is Hagenstein, as we see Hagenstein in car number 84 for the first time this season. As for the All-Star and Croft, he drove again. Oh! Lambert! Lambert, the heat leader, had an issue, and this is going to put Paul through to the lead here on lap number 3. And Dylan Smith is going to be battling, and we have a cluster for the transfer spot now due to Lambert's issue, as I believe he locked up the rear brakes and slid into the wall. White flag for Caleb Paul in car number 7, and it's going to be a battle to the death for the transfer spot. And looks like Dylan Smith might have spun in car number 22. So it's Hagenstein versus Lambert. The two constructor cars, actually this whole heat except for Lester's a constructor car, and Lester is the privateer points leader over Steve Rada, who is not here today. So Paul trying to pull away. He took his Joker, and this should seal it for him due to Lambert's issue. We don't know what happened, but I have a decent guess. Rear brake lockup on the Volkswagens. We know they've had that for a while. And rounding the final corner, it's going to be Caleb Paul winning heat number 3, followed by Brandon Lambert, who transfers through. Hagenstein is in 3rd, and it looks like Dylan Smith has parked the car in car number 22. No, he is not. He was propped on the wall. So Lester will finish 4th in the private Mitsubishi, and Dylan Smith will have to settle for 5th place, testing his drifting now that he knows that there's no point in actually driving fast. So the LCQ drivers, as soon as that finished up, they have left the paddock, the ones that were in the paddock. The others are rounding the track to get prepared to grid. So here we go. This is an awkward sight. You've never seen the defending champion in the LCQ before. Not this season. But he's here. And he's going to have to do battle with a majority of his teammates to see who will get through to the final in round number 2. On pole will be Tristan Hagenstein in car number 84. Next to him will be his teammate Cody Erdman in car number 2. Next to Erdman will be, I believe, Brandon Nicholson in car number 37. And next to him will be Lester in car number 50. Then it's Simons and the private Subaru, Cars, Mertz, and Dylan Smith. 8 cars that they're fighting for 2 spots. Do you know how crazy this is going to be? 4 Subarus, 2 Mitsubishis, 1 Ford, and 1 Volkswagen. Fighting for 2 spots and 3 laps. Get your hard hats, gentlemen, because this is going to be interesting as the LCQ is revving them up, and it's lights out, and away we go. And it's off the line. Smith's terrible start. Nicholson and Erdman banging. And into corner number 1, it looked as though Hagenstein gets the run. It's going to be Hagenstein, Nicholson, Erdman, and 5 wide almost as Smith is turned around in car number 22, and it looks like he's parking it on the spot. Hagenstein leading through to the dirt section around his cars, and Simons to the inside of Hagenstein. Will he take the fight as the 4 Subarus are under a blanket? Erdman sideways and around he goes, and Nicholson around as well. And Lester involved, and I believe that's a red flag. Red flag for the LCQ. And I feel my lungs collapsing because of screaming so hard. So, that's what you get when you have 8 cars battling for 2 spots on the start. And especially at a congested track like Valkenswaard. But next week, we will have the wide open spaces of Guadarrama, Spain for the first round of the Endurance Championship. That is back for 2014A. And your defending champion also won that championship. So, that'll be interesting. Keep watch on the ASN YouTube page for round number 3 of the championship. We've lost 1 car. Dylan Smith has parked. So there are now 7 cars going for 2 spots. That should be a little bit easier. Revving them up for the first restart of the LCQ. And it's lights out and away we go. What a start by Tristan Hagenstein off the line. Nicholson's all over the place. To the outside is Mertz, outside of Lester. And into corner number 1, it is going to be contact between Cars and Mertz, but it's Hagenstein, Erdman, Simons, Cars, Nicholson, Lester, and Mertz is not going to be happy after this. Please do not turn car number 1's radio on. Into the dirt right-hander for the first time. It's Hagenstein and Erdman leading the way in car number 84 and car number 2. Simons is in third. To the Joker goes Cars. To the Joker goes Mertz in car number 1 as he passes Nicholson. On the outside is Erdman trying to get the run on his teammate. Coming to 2 laps to go, and you have 3 Subarus under a blanket. This is insanity. Hagenstein trying to pull away from his teammate. He is under the pressure as Hagenstein drives car number 2 when Erdman cannot. And Erdman, very limited schedule this season, possibly only this race or next race, or I should say. We'll keep you posted as he goes to the inside of his teammate, trying to take the fight to him. Pass succeeded on car number 84 for car number 2. As Mertz is in 4th now, we have 4 Subarus in the top 4 as we're going to come to the white flag, and they're all driving like it's the end of the world. Hagenstein trying to fight with Erdman. Simons, if they both mess up, he's going to take the spot, and if all 3 of these guys mess up, their team owner's just going to take all the spots for himself. White flag, Erdman leads, Hagenstein second, Simons, Mertz, Cars, Nicholson, and Lester, the 2 privateers battling for the lower points positions. As Erdman driving defensively, he is about 7/10 quicker than Hagenstein. Mertz is on the same pace as Hagenstein, as he's a second slower than his teammate. Actually, no, they're on the same pace, excuse me there. Yes, they are. They're within 1/100 of a second. As rounding, the Joker goes to 3 Subarus. Mertz is in 4th. He hits the banking, and on his side goes Mertz in car number 1. Simons got sideways. That's going to seal the deal for car number 2, Cody Erdman, who wins the LCQ. Hagenstein is second, Simons third, and for the first time ever, the defending champion does not make the final. 5th place, Cars. 6th place will be Nicholson. 7th place, Lester. And 8th place will be Dylan Smith in car number 22. And if you didn't hear me, I just said that the defending champion for the first time ever does not make the final. We have not seen that ever. I'm trying to get that into your brain. That has never happened before. The defending champion has always made the final And this time it has not happened. Your LCQ results: Simons, Mertz, Cars, Nicholson, Lester Smith. That occupies 9th through 14th in the final results here. So we are Mertzless for the first time since 2012 B Charlotte. And he won that championship that year. So who knows what will happen. But anyway, we are getting ready to go for the final here in Valkenswaard. And who knows what will happen. We're revving them up for round number 2 of the 2014 NASA RallyCross Challenge season, and it's lights out and away we go. And off the line, Living Good gets the jump, followed by Erdman, 3 wide with Wetz in the middle. Who's going to get the jump into corner number 1? It is going to be Living Good sneaking through the inside. Erdman tries to take the fight on the outside. Will he shoot the middle between the teammates? No, as it's Erdman in third, behind the 2 Revolution Mitsubishis, and the Mangled Lemon Subaru is in 4th, pulling away from Lambert, driving through, smashing through Hagenstein. That should be under review, as Paul to the Joker in car number 7. The 3 cars under a blanket. It's Fleming in 5th. Erdman goes to the inside of Living Good, side by side through the double apex, shoves it out wide into the tire barrier. Goes Dylan Living Good in car number 51, out on the spot. In car number 51, at the end of lap number 1, it's Erdman leading. Please, 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 please do not turn the scanner to car number 51. I have it in my ears. It's nothing but profanity. So he is in 8th, out on the spot. And Wetz, now 2nd place, trying to catch Cody Erdman. And race control telling car number 2 to park as he slides wide, but that is being countered by Josh Mertz on the pit gantry of car number 2 saying, no, keep going, we'll protest this later. So this will put Paul through, as beating and banging as Wetz and Paul for the lead. As Living Good has gotten out of his car, you can see him behind the wall there, but the car will stay because it's out of the immediate racing line. And at the end of lap number 2, who is leading? It is Paul, as the top 3 are having an incredible battle. Beating and banging over the chicane is Wetz and Erdman. And Wetz is sideways in car number 71. Can he save it? No. He's backing it up, and Fleming smashes into him. And this, I believe, he's upside down turtled. He's done. Revolution Racing. Is this 2013 C Riverside all over again? They're 7th and 8th out of the race. So we have 6 cars after 2 laps left, and Lambert and Erdman battling for the 2nd spot. And this will hurt Revolution, as MRT already has 1 car out of the race. Their other car is in 2nd spot. And those 2 have been the protagonists for the Constructors' Championship all series long. Lap 3 is over. It's Paul leading. The podium is out and away from the rest of the field. It's Paul, as Wetz is in the middle of the racing line. It's Paul, Erdman, Lambert, Fleming, Hagenstein, and Denice. So MRT Jr. will get some good points as well today, as both of them had made the final. We're on lap number 4 here in Valkenswaard. Erdman will take to the Joker now in car number 2. He has nothing to lose because he's only running 1 or 2 races this season. And then he will have his Slinger Speedway duties for his late model. He does that oval racing, but he does Rallycross on the side. And the end of lap number 4, and it is Caleb Paul. Lap number 5 has begun, and these 3 are pulling away further from the rest of the field. That's your lap times. It's Erdman, Lambert, Paul, your top 3 lap times. Fleming, Wetz, Hagenstein, Denice, and obviously Living Good never set a lap time. So on lap number 5, Erdman's trying to drive like this is the end of the world, but he wants the 20 points to help for the Constructors' Championship. But Lambert will not let these 2 get away from him. He won the All-Star race, the non-points All-Star race in Irwindale a month ago, so he wants to get this victory at the end of lap number 5, 3 to go, and it is Caleb Paul, excuse me, leading, as I was thinking of Chris Wetz. And the inside is Erdman. They make contact. That sends Paul around. Erdman is going to stop and allow Paul through. But now, this has allowed Lambert to take the lead. And it's a lot like the heat race, where he messed up and the leader was gone, and it was Paul then. And now the tides are reversed, and it's Brandon Lambert now leading here on lap number 6. Coming to 2 laps to go. Race control not very happy with Erdman's sloppy driving, but Mertz is still saying they're going to protest that first wreck with Livingood still stuck in the wall. 2 laps to go for Lambert, but Caleb Paul got turned by Erdman, and Erdman stopped and waited, so they're going to battle between themselves for the second spot, as this battle will be interesting with 2 laps to go here at Valkenswaard, as these 2 drivers possibly on a limited schedule. So when you have limited schedule drivers, they drive like insane people, and this is what we're getting on the outside. Erdman tried to take it. Will he get the undercut on car number 7? He could not get the grip in the Subaru, but he has to take to the Joker. This has possibly sealed the second spot for him. Out of the Joker, second place to Erdman. Rounding the final corner, white flag in the air for Brandon Lambert in car number 21. Erdman has to hold off Paul for the second spot. Paul is right there. In fact, Paul is not the fastest car on track. It's Hagenstein at a 42.9. Erdman is 43 flat. Lambert 43.1. Paul sideways. That might have just sealed the second spot. I believe that has sealed the second spot. As Lambert trying to pull away now. And trying to get Repsol their first points-paying victory as a sponsor in the NASA Rallycross Challenge. It looks like it will come to fruition as a chaotic race in Valkenswaard will leave Brandon Lambert, your 2012 champion, victorious in round number 2, followed by Erdman in car number 2. Protest is being reviewed. We'll try and get that during the results. Paul from Mangled Lemons gets their first podium. Fleming 4th. Hagenstein in 5th. 6th place will be the one-off driver Doug Denice with a quiet race. He was able to hang out by himself and get 6th spot. And 7th place will be Livingood, and 8th place. Let's just go through the results, shall we? Brandon Lambert, your winner. Cody Erdman, Caleb Paul, Fleming, Hagenstein, Denice, Wetz, Livingood, your final order. Then best of the rest, Simons and Mertz, followed by Cars, Nicholson, Lester, and Dylan Smith. Your driver points after 2 rounds. Due to the lack of consistency, we have Chris Wetz and Brandon Lambert tied at the top with 32 points apiece. Fleming has 30 points, Hagenstein 27, and the drivers that won the championships for the last 5 seasons are 5th and 6th, the lowest they've ever been. Simon 7th, 8th Erdman, 9th Paul, 10th is Smith, Doug Denice 12 points, Lester 12 points, Nicholson 11 points, Cars 10 points, Sherman 7 points, and Rada 5 points. Privateer Championship, Lester has 1 point over Denice, I believe, if I calculate that right, or they're tied due to that Drivers' Championship, but we'll figure that out. Actually, yes, they are tied, I do believe, for the Privateer Championship, so that will be interesting. World Constructors Championship, the order has not changed, but the points have gotten bigger. Revolution Racing 55, Subaru MRT 52, MRT Junior 51, Volkswagen 45, Mangled Lemons 33, and you see Revolution Junior has 6 points. They are not a constructors team, but the points still stand from round number 1 at Croft, so they will be forever 6th place in the 2014A Constructors Championship. And the Manufacturers Championship, due to the second consecutive second place finish, that's a lot of that. For Subaru, they have 34 points, Volkswagen 32, Mitsubishi falls to 3rd with 31, and Ford will get 23. I believe they credited Paul's finish for 3rd, so we will see what happens. Next week, we will go to Guadarrama, Spain for the first round of the Endurance Championship and round number 3 of the 2014A NASA Rallycross Challenge season. We hope to see you there, but until then, thank you for watching, and so long, everyone.